it away.
Thank you to Professor Kligman for coming all the way out and sharing this afternoon for us. Thank you to Stephanie for her efforts to put this together. This program this afternoon is sponsored by SAYVA. SAYVA is a network of all the synagogues and the Jewish home here in the West Valley, devoted to making the lives of older adults richer and more interesting and more engaging. So be on the lookout for information about more programs from SAYVA and the networking among the synagogues. That's what we're working on together, and we're delighted that you've all come out this afternoon to do this. What we're about to do is something very serious, in some ways very sad, talking about Israel and the aftermath of October 7th. So let's begin with something happy. Wish me Mazel Tov. Our grandson was born Friday night. Yeah? Thank you. Number three. He was supposed to come Wednesday, but the bus came early, so he got on. And he came Friday night, and we're leaving next week for a bris. So healthy, 7 pounds, 11 ounces, and my daughter is doing fine, and they all went home from the hospital today to face life again. So you're all invited. The bar mitzvah will be 13 years from now. Please do come back for the bar mitzvah. Can I ask everyone to stand up? Everyone stand up. Turn around and introduce yourself to the people sitting next to you, behind you, beside you, around you. There we go.
This is my dad,
Oh,
Jerry.
how wonderful. How wonderful, how wonderful. All right, now before you sit down, because you're going to be sitting for a very long time, stand up again, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up, come on, you can stand up. And join me in a bracha. Shh. The fact that we're together, get the chance to learn together, this is something special. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shechianu, v'kiyamanu, v'gianu, lazman. And he's a music professor, so we should sing something. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Please be seated. If you've been to Israel this year, we were just there for about 3 weeks. The society is broken. Israel feels like someone should unplug it and plug it back in again. There is such a well of sadness, of rage, of pain, of disappointment, of bewilderment, of confusion, and of just hurt within that society right now. Zionism, the movement that created the State of Israel, promised that the course of Jewish history would now change because we now have sovereignty, something we have not had for 1,800 years. We have a country and a land and a government and a place among the family of nations. But October 7th came and shook that conviction. When we call October 7th a pogrom, it is a significant word because that says that Jewish history has come back to us. The vulnerability, the risk, the pain that we suffered for all the generations, all the condition that was supposed to be healed by Zionism, have now come back to revisit us. So the question of who Israel is and what it does and what it is to its people is under discussion in a very real way. And that discussion, as you can imagine, occurs both in the head and the heart. In the head, in philosophical talk, in political talk, in arguments. In the heart, through poetry and music and art. And that's where we are today. And you're going to hear a great deal about this on the high holidays, I'm quite certain, what other synagogue you go to. Because this is what all the rabbis in the community are going to be asking about. How do we reconceive what Israel is to us? How do we talk about our children, what Israel is to us? And how do Israelis talk to themselves about what Israel means to them? But before we can get to that philosophical conversation, there is a conversation with the heart, because something has been broken. There's still 100 and something hostages. There is still a tremendous amount of violence, both coming from Gaza and going into Gaza. There is the threat of Hezbollah on the north, of the Houthis and the Iranians on the east. There is all of this danger in the world around the state of Israel, and that finds its expression in the music, in the art, in the literature, in the drama, in the theater that you find in Israel today. And while so much of it is very sad, there is one glimmer, which is the thought in Israel before October 7th was that this generation, which they call the TikTok generation, or in Hebrew, Dor HaTikTok, that they were disinterested in the drama of Israel, disinterested in the state of Israel, disinterested in the state of the Jewish people. Well, what happened on October 7th was quite remarkable. When Israel puts out a Gius notice, that is a call-up to reserves, military reserves, because of an emergency, they plan on welcoming about 80% of the people, mostly men, of course, but even some women, who were called up to the reserves. About 80% show up to take up their positions. When the October 7th or October 8th notice went out, 130% came back. There were entire plane loads of Israeli young people from Thailand and from Goa in India and from Venezuela who were vacationing all over the world, who found their way onto airplanes and got to Israel and put on uniforms and picked up guns to protect the state. There is a resurgence of, we might call it patriotism, but a reconnection with the land and its mission. That is the hopeful aspect of this catastrophe. That, too, is in the music, the poetry, and the art. I am really very honored to welcome my dear friend, Professor Kligman. First of all, I want you to just notice, for those of you who have a sense of Jewish history in the world, that there is a professor of Jewish music at UCLA. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Right? And the wonderful thing is he has a great title. The title is the Mickey Katz Endowed Chair in Jewish Music. Anybody remember Mickey Katz? So you got to have a sense of humor to call yourself the Mickey Katz Professor, because he's a wonderful, zany musician. But the idea of a serious scholar of world Jewish music in our community, part of our lives, is a great gift. And Mark really fills that role with such love and such power of his scholarship and such wonderful teaching. It's a real privilege to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Feinstein. That's such a sweet introduction. It is so good to be here. My thanks also to Stephanie and everyone involved to make this program work. As Rabbi Feinstein said, I hold the Mickey Katz Endowed Chair in Jewish Music at UCLA. And again, if you know Mickey Katz and his comedy, it's not clear? Is this better if I do it like, okay, thank you. If I forget to do it, please remind me. So Mickey Katz, who is a comedic musician, and if you know his incredible zany humor, I always feel like I don't need an opening joke in front of a crowd because they can just think of Mickey Katz. So the Katz family is a wonderfully philanthropic family, and it's been a pleasure to get to know them. They're very big givers to many different institutions in LA and Jewish institutions. And what we're doing at UCLA is really very, very special. What we're doing is we're implanting Jewish music not only through my endowed chair, but through a center that is called the Lowell Milken Center for Music of American Jewish Experience. We are the first center of Jewish music in the United States, and I would love you to join me in welcoming my very dear colleague, Professor Neil Stolberg, who's the director of UCLA Orchestras, and also the artistic director of the center. We are doing so many exciting things. We, a year and a half ago, did this wonderful production called Music and Justice, and we involve students and professionals, and we're really trying to find ways in which music can really say something very meaningful. And the goal of the center is to provide high-level research, high-level performance, and also public education. And to me, it's a dream job. I'm someone who grew up here in the San Fernando Valley. I'm not being, what else can I do? Take the other microphone, okay? Is this microphone better? No? Okay, I'll keep talking, you can let me know. If I need both microphones, I use both microphones. Well, if anyone has a suggestion, just let me know. I hope you can hear. So what we're really trying to do, as I said at UCLA, is to impact the community and also impact students. And we have so many wonderful students doing some work. Had incorporated that into this particular talk. I, as someone who grew up here in Los Angeles and had my bar mitzvah at Temple Ramat Zion, where my family has belonged for many years, I always avoided the Holocaust as a topic. I always felt that the Holocaust was something I really didn't want to deal with. And most of my research in Jewish music has been about living Jewish communities. I did my doctorate on the music of the Syrian Jews in Brooklyn and do many other projects on Sephardic and other religious Jewish communities. My interest in this topic of looking at music since October 7th is very deeply personal. Israel is so important to my Jewish identity. The first time I went to Israel and went to the Kotel and was in the Old City, I realized what a powerful experience our Jewish history is. And my wife and I worked so hard to really be so dedicated to being, religious Zionists, Dati Leumi, and I'm very proud to say that we passed that on to our children. And although my son doesn't want me to do this, who's here, he made Aliyah last September. And that is something that we are very, very proud of, that of everything that he's accomplished, but that we've been able to impart that. For me, October 7th hit me as a dagger in the heart professionally when I went to an ethnomusicology conference and there was a public statement about, from the river to the sea, let Palestine be free. And everybody clapped who was at this particular conference. Never before have I been in such a situation where I felt like nobody really understands what's going on. And that's something that we've had to deal with for a while. Now, as faculty at UCLA, you've heard and read about a lot of the problems. Happy to talk about that later if you want to hear anything about it. But one of the things that we did, a group of faculty in February, is we took a mission. We took a trip to Israel. And in February, Rabbi Feinstein talked about how now Israel is broken. I mean, Israel's been broken in all these months. To see and experience Israel and to go to what we call the Gaza envelope and see the communities, it's such a powerful experience, and I really wanted to share that experience in the ways that I can in the research that I do. So the way that I got this title, We Will Dance Again, comes from Mia Shchem. Mia Shchem was a hostage who was released in the early time. If you want to lower the lights, if this would be a good time. And, oh yeah, you need to really lower the lights so you could see this. And she tattooed on her arm, "We will dance again." And she put the date of October 7th, 2023. To have that fortitude to say that we will dance again as an act of defiance is what is keeping Israelis going. When we went on our trip, we went to the city of Sderot. City of Sderot, many of you have heard, is a city that's really at the corner of the Gaza envelope that has really been missiles, probably thousands of missiles in the last decade or so have hit that city. And when we took a tour of that city, most of the residents weren't there in February. But the residents that were there who were telling us their stories of survival, there was this one woman who told us the following, that in Sderot, what they do is they keep their doors open all the time. Because if a missile comes and someone needs a safe room to go to, they can run into someone's house and find their safe room. On October 7th, that was obviously something that was not beneficial. I mean, it was deadly. And for people to relive that experience and tell us their stories, it becomes so visceral when you hear them talk about what they're trying to do to survive. And many of them say, telling the story, making sure that people know and expressing it is what it's about. So I hope you could see that as we go through here, the different things. So what I'd like to do is play for you a number of videos that have come out where people have engaged in communicating this. And the things that I'm going to share with you are all things that are done for Israelis. Israeli music for Americans is sort of a different kind of experience, but this is music by Israelis for Israelis. And first song is by Hanan Ben-Ari, a very well-known Sephardi artist in Israel. And this is sort of all these themes. If you take us back to the moments back in October, November, when the initial experience was still fresh and people were coming up to were being called up to the army. That's what we'll see in this image. Again, this goes back to November.
מקווה שאת עוד שומרת רגעים שמחים למזכרת פעם אנשים עוד כתבו לך כאן שירים על מחברת זוכרת היפהפייה נרדמת עד מתי תהי מדממת ברחובות כולם אין חלון ואין סולם אין גם דלת או שלט אז שר לך שיר ישן שיר ישן שיר ישן נשאר לך נאמן נאמן לעולם לעולם הנביאים חזו לך אחרת מישהו נרדם במשמרת איפה החלום אין אמת ואין שלום אין גם צדק רק צדק אז שאלה.
So I'm going to be interrupting a lot of these because there's so much music to play. But this is a very tender song, and in these songs they're really evoking a lot of different memories and ideas. Sometimes it's biblical ideas, but what you could see, how many of you actually have been to Israel since October 7th? A few people? And what you see now in Israel is there's signs of the hostages everywhere. There are pictures of the hostages, there are candlelight vigils and different things happening. It's something that as you come into the airport in Israel and you walk down that long ramp, you see pictures of the hostages. It's something that's so present in contemporary Israeli experience. So this is something that's on everyone's mind. I think this song really reflects this aspect of this commitment to Israel in this very, very difficult time. I want to talk next about the horrible events of the, God, why am I blanking out, of the concert. What was that concert called? Nova, the Nova Music Festival. Sorry, I forgot. Through the experience of Yehuda Bachar, who was there and unfortunately killed, but the way in which his family is remembering it is in the following way. Yehuda Bachar comes from a religious family, and he was deciding to no longer be Shomer Shabbat. And he decided, though, that, he's still a very spiritual guy, and he's going to the Nova Festival. And while he's driving down to the Nova Festival, he sings this particular song. And the song that he sings is the morning prayer of Elohai Neshama. And Elohai Neshama is the prayer where we thank God for, if I come closer to you, take the microphone, try and talk without the microphone.
Why don't you just talk?
Okay, sure. I'll try and talk about it. So, Yehuda Bachar was driving down to the Nova Festival. We can't make everybody happy. So.
It's the acoustic center.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe you want to move to the back, because people say in the back that they can hear. So maybe move to the back. Maybe that's, yeah. Okay. Yehuda Bachar is a young man who's on his way to the Nova Festival, and he's singing this song called Elohai Neshama, which is a song that's based upon a prayer we say in the morning about God restoring our soul. And his family was able to retrieve this message later. So I just want you to hear a few minutes of it. So his two brothers, and another singer by the name of Avishai, decided in Yehuda Bachar's memory to take this melody and sing it together so that they can remember him. And they incorporate aspects of that video into it. So just want you to hear this.
אלוהי, נשמה שנתת בי, טהוראי, אלוהי, נשמה שנתת בי, טהוראי, אתה בראתה, אתה יצרת, אתה נפחת בי, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, ואתה דין נתלה ממני, ולחזירה בלעתיד לבוא. כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי, מודה אני לפניך, כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי, מודה אני לפניך. אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותיי, ריבון כל המעשים, אדון כל הנשמות, ריבון כל המעשים, אדון כל הנשמות.
I want to take you to the very end of it where they incorporate his singing into it. It's just in like the last 30 seconds.
כל הנשמות. כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי, מודה אני לפניך. כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי, מודה אני לפניך.
So this is their tribute to their brother, And there are hundreds of songs like this that people have created for different individuals that they want to remember. And various newspapers have dedicated to telling stories of all the 1,200 people that were killed on October 7th. So these are stories that go on, and my colleagues in Israel say that during October, November, December, every single night when you turn on Israeli TV, you were hearing the stories of the people who were killed to remember them. So this is a very interesting moment in November when there's an area now that they call Hostage Square. It's right where the Tel Aviv Museum is, which is an open area that is very close to where the IDF headquarters are. And in that particular area, which is sort of a very prominent area in Tel Aviv, they've set up a place for hostage families to just sit and for people to meet with them. They have all sorts of things that are relevant for people to just come and commemorate. And this is a song that these two Israeli artists sang, and they're in that area where they have 240 lights, very powerful lights that are shining up to the sky, and by each light is the name of one of the hostages. And they sing this song called Coming Home.
I'm coming home, tell the world I'm coming, and the blood will dry underneath my nails, and the wind will rise up to fill my sails. See, you can't doubt and you can't hate, but I know no matter what it takes, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. Let the rain wash away all the pain of yesterday. I know my kingdom awaits, and they're fighting for my sake. I'm coming home, coming home. Tell the world I'm coming.
So far away from where I belong, but it's always darkest before the dawn. And you can't doubt, and you can't hate, but I know no matter what it takes, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. Let the rain wash away all the pain of yesterday. I know my kingdom awaits. They are fighting for my sakes. I'm coming home, coming home. Tell the world I'm coming. I'm coming home, coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. Let the rain wash away all the pain of yesterday. I know my kingdom awaits, and they're fighting for my sake.
I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home.
So the people, of course, who are standing there are all hostage families who are coming into the center there. Now, this is a song that was written, I think about, 5 or 10 years ago by some other artist. This is not a Jewish song when it has the text, "My kingdom awaits," right? That's not, that's not a Jewish thing. But they're using this song, and that's what's happening, is a lot of past songs are being used. And one of the interesting things that happened initially when the call-up happened right after October 7th is that a lot of the Yom Kippur songs from 1973 started having an interesting resurgence. Now other songs are being written. This is a very powerful song that's called the Homeland Concert, which has 1,000 musicians in Israel who've come together to Caesarea, right, this big outdoor arena, and it got to be known as the Homeland Concert. This was very popular on YouTube. Some of you may have seen it. I think it's very, very powerful. Just out of curiosity, how many of you have, how many of you have seen this video, just out of curiosity? So just a couple of people. I think it's very, very powerful. And we're sadly, so sadly, 10 and a half months into this war, when this came out, just 3 months afterwards, that pain that was so visceral at that time, I think is just so incredibly expressed And people who wore the shirts with the, you know, both in Hebrew and English that said, bring them home. I mean, those are all hostage families that they're bringing in to sing with them. So I want to share with you a couple of more sort of personal experiences of people. And this is a group that I love to talk about. The group is called Yonina. And Yonina is a very popular group in our house because my oldest daughter's name is Yonina. But the name of this particular group is for the husband, whose name is Yoni, and the wife's name is Nina, so Yonina is their names together. And they're this incredible husband and wife couple. And for many years, they've had these fabulous YouTube videos, very simply done, of them singing in their kitchen, singing in their car, just taking really well-known Israeli songs and singing them in very beautiful, beautiful ways. This is an original song they wrote where Yoni was called up for military service, and Nina, the wife, they were able to basically create this song where she was home and he was in the army, and then, you know, didn't COVID, they were able to put the videos together. So this is a very interesting song about them sharing their experience. I hope you could read the words up there. Are they clear enough to read? Yeah, so I'll just tell you what she says. I was on my way to synagogue when you put on your uniform, and at the corner of the street you said goodbye to me and the children. I explained that Daddy now needs to protect, and I didn't want them to know from what. And on the way, people asked us what you are doing outside a war has broken out. So now, and you'll hear this particular part where it gets a little more upbeat. So now I am gathering all my strength of kindness and faith that good days are yet to come, that the songs of joy will return to us, and I hug the children tightly to protect from the storms outside, and in all the craziness, under black skies I gather stars. And the title of this song in Hebrew is Malaketet Kochavim, which means I'm gathering stars. So you'll hear that sort of explanation of what's happening in the moment, that she's preparing the household while her children leaves, and then she will be very sort of more hopeful in that second verse.
הייתי בדרך לבית כנסת כשעלית על מדים ובפינת הרחוב נפרדת ממני ומהילדים הסברתי שאבא עכשיו צריך לשמור ולא רציתי שידעו ממה ובדרך אנשים שאלו מה אתם עושים בחוץ פרצה מלחמה אז עכשיו אני אוספת את כל הכוחות של חסד ושל אמונה שעוד יבואו ימים של טוב שעוד תשוב אלינו הרינה ומחבקת חזק את הילדים רק להגן מהסופות שבחוץ ופתוח הטירוף מול שמיים שחורים מלקטת כוכבים
בלילות הראשונים לא ישנתי, דרוך על המשמר. חתמתי על ציוד בעולם מקביל, נפרדתי מכל מה שמוכר. יש כאן אחוות לוחמים בימים מתישים, מבלי לדעת מה יהיה מחר. שבועות כבר עברו חודשים, ובכל זאת נשארים עד שהאופק יואר. אז עכשיו אני שולח לך ים של כוחות, של חסד ושל אמונה, שעוד יבואו ימים של טוב, שעוד תשוב אלינו הרינה. אז תחבקי חזק את הילדים, רק להגן מהסופות שבחוץ, ובתוך הטירוף מול שמיים שחורים, מלקט לך כוכבות הגעגוע אליך, ולמרות שקשה כאן לבד, לפעמים כדי לנצח
את כל הכוחות של חסד ושל אמונה, שעוד יבואו ימים של טוב, שעוד תשוב אלינו הרינה, ומחבקת חזק את הילדים, רק להגן מהסופות שבחוץ, ופתוח הטירוף מול שמיים שחורים, מלקטת כוכבים.
One of the interesting experiences that I had on my trip in February was our guide who was taking us around to different parts of Tel Aviv, and we went to, of course, different parts of Israel. And we kept asking our guide, what's different in Israel now? What is going on now that is so different? And of course, the streets were not as crowded as they typically are in Tel Aviv. But he said the one thing that you see is husbands and wives with a man in his army uniform walking along the promenade of the streets, walking around at the beach, people spending time together, and you can tell that it's a very precious moment that they have together as a couple. So that's what's conveyed in this particular song is, young people who are having to deal with their family and life and war, and this is, I think, a very interesting expression. The next song I'd like to play is a song about an organization. I think the text, can you read the text is a little bit bigger, that you could see it? So it's sort of somewhat self-explanatory, and it's really going to portray different individuals, and this is related to October 7th. This is done in January of 2022, and this is about how organizations in Israel are helping families that are in pain and hurting, how they're helping children whose parents have been killed, or people who have really been deeply affected by the war or terrorism in some way. And this is just another personal expression through music that I think is very meaningful. It's sung by this incredible artist. His name is Yishai Ribo. He's one of the most popular artists in Israel today, and he's the main singer that we'll hear.
הקרבות עוד באוויר, עם עייף חובש פצעיו, יושב סופר ימיו, צעקות בושה בכל העיר, דור רוצה תשובה עכשיו, זכאי ולא חייב, בגוף עייף מכישלונות, בלב שבור לחתיכות, חכה לך שתקבל פנינו,
לך קראנו בלילות, ועוד נצעק ברחובות, רחם עלינו אבא הושיענו,
זמן עובר כולם ממהרים, דור מחיש את פעמיו, רוצה הכל עכשיו, שמש בשמיים אפורים, עם בארץ אבותיו, נלחם עוד על חייו, בגוף עייף מכישלונות, בלב שבור לחתיכות, מחכה לך שתקבל פנינו,
לך קראנו בלילות, בלב שבור לחתיכות, נחכה לך שתקבל פנינו. לך קראנו בלילות, יום ניצב ברחובות, רחם עלינו אבא הושיענו, הושיענו.
So it's a very interesting organization that's helping families and individuals who are surviving tragedies. And in most of the songs, as you hear in this of Yishai Ribo, it's really about trying to really depict the pain, the hurt, the moment, but yet finding hope. And for Yishai Ribo, the hope is always connecting one to God, connecting one to tradition in Judaism, as it's saying, Hoshienu, that the Almighty should save us. There are so many other songs to play that I'm not going to play by a number of different artists that are, some are songs that are written in the moment, some are songs that were written in the past that are being brought back up. But the couple more that I want to play, this one I'm really excited to play for you. It's written by a student at UCLA. It's a graduate student. His name is Yaron Cherniak. And Yaron Cherniak is Israeli. He has one parent. His father's from Bukharia, and his mother is actually from Eastern European heritage. So he's kind of combining a Middle Eastern and Eastern European sort of Jewish heritage in the music and the things that he does. He plays a number of different instruments. We really won't see him in this. We'll hear him sing. This is an animated song called Ba'orcha, which means in your light. And this was written as a tribute to the Nova Festival, survivors and individuals who died. Again, Ba'orcha.
רגעי נשמתי עלי ארץ חרוכה רוחי טובל לחיות באורך ליבי יגל בך דודי נפשי חולת אהבה ליבי יגל בך דודי נפשי חולת אהבה תדבק לשוני לחיקי החריש אל מול הדרכה אעמוד ואתיירא ליבי יגל בך דודי נפשי חולת אהבה ליבי יגל בך דודי נפשי חולת אהבה.
In the interest of time, I just want to play a couple more. And if you're interested in any of these, I can send you a playlist of all. They're all available on YouTube. This one is a little more upbeat and I think very interesting. The way that you say like superhero or hero in Israel is the word gibor al. Gibor al means like superhero. So I hope that you can read the text of this. And this is basically a song that's saying the ordinary people that you see on the street here in Israel are really doing tremendous things that you don't know about. And this is really, I just think it's a really interesting one, Gibor Al, by a group called Hatikva Shesh or Hatikva 6.
אז המורה לתנ"ך בגבעתי, המורה ללשון מודיעין, השכן מלמעלה קבלן עבודות, אבל חודש כבר במילואים. עורכת הדין היא קמב"צית, עושה משמרות באוגדה. אחיה איש הייטק בכיר, עכשיו הוא צלף על גגות ברצועה. מנהלת הסניף הקשוחה של הבנק היא סמג"ד ביהודה ושומרון. דורון הוא בעל חנות צעצועים, עכשיו הוא מ"פ בשריון. והמדי שלנו כפרה, שלרוב מזמר בקיסריה. הוא לוחם הנדסה, מתאושש בגבורה, אחרי שנפצע בלב עזה. נכון כולם נראים רגילים, אבל אנחנו עם של גיבורי על, בכל אחד תמיד מסתתר חייל, מוכן להציל את העולם. יש את הנהג אוטובוס של דן, זה שתמיד עומד בזמן, הוא עכשיו מפקד סוללת תותחנים בדרום ליד נרעם. יש סטודנט בטכניון באמצע תואר ראשון, הוא סרן במיל בעוצבת הגליל כבר חודש בגבול הצפון. יש פה דוגמנית פרמדיקית, יש פה חשמלאי שהוא מגיסט, יש את יוני נגן סקסופון מחונן שהוא קודם כל מטכליסט. יש לכולם ארון נסתר או ארגז גדול מאובזר, יש פה סט של מדים וגלימת מילואים מוכנות תמיד לאתגר. נכון כולם נראים רגילים אבל אנחנו עם של גיבורי על, בכל אחד תמיד מסתתר חייל, מוכן להציל את העולם. וזה לא משנה אם באמצע חיים או באמצע משחק כדורגל, כולם יעזבו את הכל בשנייה אם יקרא להם הדגל. פה זה לא יקום מקביל, לא מציאות של מרוויל, זה הסיפור שלנו, עם ישראל, זה הסיפור שלנו. נכון כולם נראים רגילים אבל אנחנו עם של גיבורי על, בכל אחד תמיד מסתתר חייל, מוכן להציל את העולם.
I find this to be such an empowering video just to know what people are doing. So what I want to do to close this out is just tell you a little bit about the Eurovision song, which I'm sure some of you heard about, that was called Hurricane, sung by Aiden Golan, a 21-year-old girl from Israel, and this is truly an extraordinary story. So she writes this song for Eurovision, and Eurovision is this song contest, right, that European countries and also many other Middle Eastern countries are part of. And then it goes through a process of being adjudicated, and then people vote for the winning song. And if you're the winning song, the next year you are the host country. And Israel has won Eurovision 5 different times over the last 50 or so years. So this year's entry she put in is called October Rain. And it's referring to what happened on October 7th. When she submitted the text of the song, and what's fascinating today is every country's songs are always in English. Their country's language only comes in very little at the very end. Everyone's singing in English because they want everyone to understand. But all the red words on the right of what she submitted in October Rain had to be rewritten because they felt it was too political in terms of mentioning the October 7th war. And what got accepted by the committee who was adjudicating the lyrics at the very beginning, she had to change it from October Rain to Hurricane, and you can see different words that change at the very beginning. Originally it was, those that write history stand with me, look into my eyes and see, and had to be changed to writer of my symphony, play with me. I mean, all sorts of different things that you can see here of words that had to be changed. So what I want to play for you is the song, so you know what the song is, and then it just had a very incredible story to it. So what you do to enter, you have to contribute a 3-minute video.
Writer of my symphony, play with me, look into my eyes and see. People walk away but never say goodbye. Someone stole the moon tonight, took my light. Everything is black and white. Who's the fool who told you boys don't cry? Hours and hours and powers. Life is no game, but it's ours. While the time goes wild, every day I'm losing my mind, holding on in this mysterious ride, dancing in the storm. I got nothing to hide. Take it out and leave the world behind. Baby, promise me you'll hold me again. I'm still broken from this hurricane. This hurricane. Living in a fantasy, ecstasy. Everything is meant to be. We shall pass, but love will never die. Hours and hours and powers. Life is no game, but it's ours. Wild. The time goes wild. Every day I'm losing my mind, holding on in this mysterious ride, dancing in the storm. I got nothing to hide. Take it out and leave the world behind. Baby, promise me you'll hold me again. I'm still broken from this hurricane. This hurricane. לא צריך מילים גדולות, רק תפילות, אפילו אם קשה לראות, תמיד אתה משאיר לי אור אחד קטן.
So remember, every time she's saying hurricane, the original words are October rain. So then this song gets performed, which I won't play that for you because of time here. And then the judges vote. So you can see here what she wrote on Twitter right afterwards, where she was talking about the power of this experience. And in a nutshell, what happened is because of all the protests against her, there were apparently 10,000 people outside her hotel protesting that she shouldn't be a part of it. She had to travel with the security entourage. From rehearsal, she had to go directly to her hotel. This is the experience that she had with it, so there was a lot of pressure for her in terms of the performance. Now, what happened afterwards is that when the judges initially did the full results of all the songs, Israel was voted to be 16th. Then they have other judging, I don't know exactly how it works, and then Israel went up to 12th. What was fascinating is then it goes to a public vote. And the public vote were so overwhelmingly siding with Israel that it jumped from 12th to 5th. So what's extraordinary about it is where the judges put it down very, very low, the public really pushed it above. So some of the coverage of this, the Hollywood Reporter says, in the most controversial European event, Switzerland won by dominating the jury vote, while Israel's Eitan Golan, who scored a strong second place in the public vote, placed 5th. And then in Times of Israel, they say, here, Israel gets top public vote from 14 countries in Eurovision. So they're straining that Australia, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Portugal, San Marino, Spain, and so on, and Switzerland and the UK all gave the highest score to Eitan Golan. So this, to me, is just extraordinary, that where there was all this pressure to really censor the song, that there was a lot of protest against her, she rose above it. And she came back to Israel really as a hero. And one of the first things they did was they brought her to Hostage Square, where she sang with the hostage families behind her the original song, not Hurricane, but the original words of October Rain. So I'll let you discover that on your own on YouTube if you'd like. And then just to show you how popular this song is, this is so cute. There's a group called the Jerusalem Boys Choir, and so now they sing this song. So it's become a very popular song in Israel. Very last thing I want to do is just share with you this particular clip that was just posted 3 weeks ago by AIPAC. In advance of Israel's time at the Olympics and their rhythmic gymnastics doing really well, they released this video, which was really to show how Israel is sort of dealing with all the censorship. Israel wanted to put the, the yellow ribbon that many people wear for the hostages. They wanted to put that on their uniforms, but the Olympic Committee said that they couldn't do that. So there are all these different ways in which they were trying to communicate the messages, and this is one of them. So this was not performed at the Olympics, but this is one of the gymnastics teams. This is the best quality video I could get of this. You'll get the point in a second. So first, if you can recognize, this is the melody of Habaita, the one of the 1,000 musicians in Caesarea, right? Just for sake of time, I just want to bring you to the last 30 seconds of this. So in everything that they're trying to do in terms of a public expression, it's to remind everyone about, of course, about the hostages. So if you're interested in any of this music, I'm happy to share with you, a link to these different songs. There are just so many songs that are constantly coming out, as you can see. I think they're very, very powerful. And I really think that the theme, as I tried to put this as, we will dance again, songs of grief and hope, is really where I see things in Israel today. I mean, people are grieving, as the rabbi said. It is a broken country, but it's still functioning and people are going on, and that steadfastness is really just a part of our Jewish tradition, of course. Happy to answer any questions, and again, thank you for the opportunity here. Yeah. I'm not aware of any. The question is, are there any Hamas songs of peace and hope? I'm not aware of any. I really don't keep up very closely with Hamas songs, but there are ethnomusicologists that do study Palestinian songs. And most of the songs are sort of these very sort of lovely sounding songs, but the words in them are really about all the messages that we see about don't be complacent with what's going on now. Look around you. You need to fight for what's yours. You need to liberate Palestine. That's, a number of songs like that. There are a number of really interesting Palestinian rappers, sort of Palestinian Israeli rappers. There's this group called Dam, which Dam in Hebrew means blood, but in Arabic, it's basically an abbreviation for, they call it De Araber MC, or it's just like the name of a rapper. And in some of their songs that have become very popular, some of them that they write in Hebrew so that Israelis can hear. But the Palestinian Israelis are in a different position than, people living in the West Bank or Gaza. I mean, if you're a Palestinian Israeli, you may not be happy with living in Israel, but you are in Israel. So their songs really have a very, different tenor to it. Other questions? So getting into politics is something that is really not my arena, but if people want to talk about politics, that's fine. I just don't really know how to comment on that.
Yes, colleagues at UCLA who teach political
Science,
We'll
yeah.
bring one of them next time, okay? I want to thank Professor Kligman for coming this afternoon. And, we are putting together a website for SAYVA, for this network of congregations and institutions for older adults, and we will get Rabbi Kligman's all these videos, and we'll put them up online so you can listen to this music, share it with your families, and look at the words again and get that. So as soon as the website is up, which should be in a few weeks, we'll have that for you. And if you left us your email, you'll get a reminder of that so we can connect with you. Thank you to Stephanie. Thank you to the professor. Thank you to everyone. Have a good evening. That was wonderful. Really wonderful. Thank you so much. It was terrific. You want to sing? No, let's go. This was a nice session.